My name is Serena Cole, and I'm 27 years old. 3 years ago, my parents threw me out of their house in the middle of a February snowstorm. I was 6 months pregnant. My father wouldn't look at me. My mother packed my things in trash bags and left them on the porch. They didn't ask where I would go. They didn't ask if I had money. They just closed the door. What they didn't know then, what they couldn't have known, was that the person they called a failure would find her family in the most unexpected place. They didn't know that 3 years later, when the truth about my daughter's biological father finally came out, everything they believed about honor, about family, about what makes someone worthy, would shatter completely. This is the story of how I lost everything and found out what family really means. It started in March 2020. I was 23 years old, working night shifts at a hospital in Morgantown, West Virginia. I had been a registered nurse for 2 years. My dream job, the thing I had worked so hard for. Student loans hung over me like a shadow, but I was proud. I was the first person in my family to finish college. I met Caleb Monroe in the hospital cafeteria on a Tuesday afternoon. He walked in wearing a suit that probably cost more than my monthly rent, and he smiled at me like I was the only person in the room. We started dating a month later. Caleb was a pharmaceutical sales rep, polished and charming, the kind of man who opened doors and ordered wine without looking at the price. He took me to restaurants where I had to Google the menu beforehand because I didn't recognize half the dishes. I felt like Cinderella. But he never took me to his house. His family needs time to warm up to new people, he said. When I asked to meet them after 6 months, he kissed my forehead and said soon. After 14 months, he was still saying soon. And private had started feeling like secret. And secret had started feeling like shame. My family lived in a 2-bedroom apartment in a neighborhood where people worked 2 jobs and still couldn't quite make it. My father, Gerald, drove 40 minutes each way to work at a warehouse. My mother, Patricia, worked part-time at a retail store. Her hours kept just below 30 a week, so they wouldn't have to give her benefits. One Sunday, I brought Caleb home for dinner. My mother made her special meatloaf, the one she only made on birthdays. After Caleb left, she pulled me aside. "Just be careful, honey," she said, drying the same dish 3 times. "Boys like that don't marry girls like us." I laughed it off. I should have listened. May 2021. I stared at a pregnancy test in my apartment bathroom. 2 pink lines, clear as day, 6 weeks along. My hands shook, not from fear, but from something that felt like hope. Caleb loved me. He had said it. He had talked about the future, about someday. I called him. "Can you come over? We need to talk." He arrived 20 minutes later. I sat him down, took his hands. "I'm pregnant." The color drained from his face. He pulled his hands back slowly, like I had burned him. "I need time to think," he said. "Not we'll figure it out. Not it'll be okay, just I need time to think." He kissed my forehead, automatic and empty, and left. 1 week passed. He didn't respond to my texts, didn't answer my calls. I sent 27 messages. "Please talk to me. We can figure this out. I'm scared. Please, nothing." On day 8, I drove to his apartment. His car was in the parking lot. The lights were on. I could see the television flickering through the curtains. I knocked 10 times. He was inside. He just wouldn't answer the door. What I didn't know then was that Caleb's mother, Vivian, had seen a text from me on his phone. His family had called an emergency meeting. His mother, his sister Jade, and their family lawyer. "She's trying to trap you," Vivian said. "This is what girls like that do." The lawyer slid a folder across the table. "We offer $15,000 and a non-disclosure agreement." She signs it. She goes away. Caleb looked at the folder for a long time. "Okay," he said. 3 weeks after I told him I was pregnant, Caleb finally called. He asked me to meet him at the Walmart parking lot. Not a restaurant, not his place. The Walmart where my mother worked. He handed me an envelope inside the car. A check for $15,000 and a legal document. I read the first line, non-disclosure agreement. "What is this?" "It's better for both of us," he said, not looking at me. "You can start fresh." I flipped through the pages. agrees to never contact Kayla Monroe, agrees not to disclose paternity, agrees not to pursue child support. I ripped the check in half slowly, watching his face. Keep your money, I said, but this baby will know who their father is. And one day, they'll know you chose money over them. I got out of the car. He didn't follow. I drove straight to my parents' apartment. I'm pregnant, I told them. He's gone. He's not coming back. My father stared at the television screen but wasn't seeing it. My mother's hands froze on the towel she was folding. How could you let this happen, she whispered. Let this happen. Like I had planned it, like I had done it alone. They didn't kick me out that night. That would have been easier. Instead, they gave me weeks of silence. 2 weeks of living in that apartment where no one would look at me. It happened on a Tuesday in early February, 6 months pregnant. Snow had been falling all day, the wet, heavy kind that turns everything gray. I came home from my shift at 8 in the morning. My mother was waiting in the living room. Trash bags lined the hallway. My trash bags, my things. You need to leave, she said. Her voice was flat, empty. My father appeared in the doorway of their bedroom. He wouldn't look at me. You're no longer our daughter, he said. Those words. I'll hear them until I die. My mother opened the front door. Cold air rushed in. Snow swirled. Please, I whispered. She looked at me, really looked at me, and I could see she was crying. Silent tears running down her face. But she didn't stop. She gestured to the door. I picked up the trash bags, 4 of them, my entire life, and walked out into the snow. The door closed behind me. I heard the deadbolt slide into place. I called the only person left, Marcus, my brother, 5 years older than me, a Marine Corps veteran, 2 tours in Afghanistan, PTSD that the VA barely helped with, living in a trailer on the outskirts of town. The brother my parents had always written off as the troubled one. The phone rang 4 times. I almost hung up. Nan, his voice was rough. I had woken him. Can I come over? I asked. 15-minute drive to his trailer, the longest 15 minutes of my life. He was standing on the porch when I pulled up. He looked at me, at my belly, at the bags. He didn't ask questions. He just said, "Come on." He took the bags from my hands and led me inside. The trailer was small, but it was warm and it was clean. He put the bags down, went to the kitchen, came back with a mug of tea. "Sit," he said. "You're safe here." And for the first time in weeks, I believed something. Marcus gave me his bedroom. He took the couch. He worked every single day, 7 days a week, 12-hour shifts when he could get them. He never complained. But at night, 2 or 3 times a week, he would wake up screaming names I didn't recognize. Davies, Ruiz, get down. I looked up those names later. Both killed in action. Afghanistan. 5/10/15. Marcus never talked about it. One night he screamed so loud I ran out. He was sitting on the couch, head in his hands, shaking. "I'm fine," he said automatically. "You're not fine, Marcus." He looked up. His eyes were hollow. "No one can fix this," he said. Not angry, just tired. So tired. So tired. On February 15th, 2022, at 4 in the morning, my water broke. Marcus was dressed in 30 seconds and had me in the car in 2 minutes. Labor lasted 14 hours. At hour 14 at 6:03 in the evening, my daughter Lily Cole entered the world screaming. 6 pounds, 3 ounces, a full head of dark hair, tiny fists waving. They put her on my chest, skin to skin. She opened her eyes and looked at me, and I understood for the first time what it meant to love something more than your own life. "You're here," I whispered. "You're here." They let Marcus come in after. He stood in the doorway, still in his work clothes. "Come here," I said. He walked over slowly, looked down at Lily. "She's perfect," he said, his voice cracking. I put her in his arms. He held her like she was made of glass. Lily wrapped her tiny hand around his finger, the way babies do. And Marcus started crying. I had never seen him cry, not once. "I've got you, little one," he whispered. I've got you. The months that followed were the hardest of my life, and somehow also the most meaningful. We counted diapers. We turned the heat down to 62 degrees. Marcus stopped buying lunch and brought peanut butter sandwiches to job sites. I watched him get thinner. When I told him he needed to eat more, he said he was fine. But we both knew he wasn't. When Lily was 9 months old, she had a severe allergic reaction, anaphylaxis. At the pharmacy afterward, the epinephrine pens cost $650. I had the $162 in my account. Marcus disappeared for a moment, then came back and put a stack of 20s on the counter. $683. Where did you get that? I asked in the car. The pawn shop, he said quietly. I pawned your grandfather's rifle, the one from World War II. That was the only thing you had left from him. Lily's alive, he said. That's what matters. August 2024. Lily was 2.5 years old. I was at the grocery store when I turned down the cereal aisle and froze. Caleb Monroe stood at the end of the aisle holding a cereal box, staring at us, staring at Lily. She looked like him. The blonde hair, the blue eyes, the shape of her nose. In person, it was undeniable. He wanted to talk. I gave him 5 minutes at a coffee shop. He said he was sorry. He said he wanted to be part of her life, and then he mentioned his father had passed away, left a will with conditions, establishing paternity and financial responsibility for any children. How much? I asked quietly. He looked away. $8 million plus controlling interest in his father's car dealerships. I stood up. You want $8 million? Lily is just the price you have to pay. I walked out. I called legal aid the next Monday. They connected me with Victoria Chen, a pro bono attorney, sharp-eyed, experienced. They have money, she told me. But you have the truth, and the truth is a powerful weapon. The trial lasted 7 days. On day 3, Marcus had a severe PTSD episode and was hospitalized on a 72-hour psychiatric hold. I ran out of the courtroom, sat next to his bed holding Lily, who was confused and scared, and thought, he gave everything and I took it all. My parents showed up at the hospital waiting room. I didn't recognize them at first. My father looked older, grayer. My mother looked smaller. They sat down near me. I'm sorry, my mother whispered, for everything, for closing the door. My father looked at Lily sleeping in my arms. She's beautiful, he said, his voice cracking. You've never met her, I said. I know, he replied. Let me take Lily tonight. You stay with Marcus. And I was so tired. I said yes. On the final day of the trial, Judge Carol Henderson looked at both sides and spoke clearly. Mr. Monroe had 3 years to be a father. He chose not to. Full custody is awarded to Ms. Cole. Supervised visitation 2 hours per week. Child support set at $1,650 per month, plus a retroactive lump sum of $59,400 for 3 years of non-payment. The gavel came down. Victoria squeezed my hand. You won. But I didn't feel victorious. I just felt tired. Marcus started therapy the week after he got out of the hospital, twice a week with a private therapist who specialized in PTSD. He also joined a veterans group on Thursday nights. 8 guys, all of them with ghosts, all of them trying to find their way back. The nightmares didn't stop, but they got less frequent. He started sleeping again, eating again. One evening I found him on the porch, coffee in hand, watching Lily draw with chalk on the sidewalk. How are you feeling? I asked. Better, he said. He looked at me. I'm sorry I scared you. You didn't break, I told him. You bent. There's a difference. Breaking means you can't be put back together. Bending means you're still here, still fighting, still showing up. He was quiet for a long time. Then he said, thank you. For what? For not giving up on me. 3 weeks after the trial, my father pulled up in his truck on a Saturday morning. He got out and pulled a toolbox from the truck bed. Dad, what are you doing here? Your window's been broken since January, he said. The porch step. I heard the kitchen sink leaks. He didn't wait for permission. He just walked past me and got to work. For 3 hours, he fixed everything in silence. Lily woke up from her nap, came outside, and watched him work. "Who that?" she asked. "That's Grandpa Gerald," I said. He looked over at her. Something in his face softened. "Hi, Lily," he said quietly. She waved, shy. When he finished, he stood on the porch. "I can't take back 3 years," he said, not looking at me. "But I can show up now." "Okay," I told him. "That's a start." He didn't hug me. Neither did I. But when he drove away, I thought maybe forgiveness doesn't have to be all at once. February 15th, 2025. Lily turned 3 years old. We had a party at the trailer. Marcus made a chocolate cake with pink frosting that said, "Happy Birthday, Lily," in wobbly letters. It was lopsided and imperfect and the most beautiful thing I had ever seen. My parents came. It was awkward. But Lily didn't notice the tension. She just saw people who loved her. We sang happy birthday. She blew out 3 candles, clapped her hands, and shouted, "I did it!" That night, after everyone left, Lily fell asleep in my arms. Marcus was washing dishes in the kitchen. I could hear the water running, the clink of plates. I could hear my parents' car pulling slowly down the gravel road, like they didn't really want to leave. 3 years ago, my parents told me I had ruined my life. They were wrong. I didn't ruin my life, I rebuilt it. And this life, this small, loud, imperfect life, is mine. Caleb has his money now. His inheritance, his $8 million, his car dealerships, his big house, but he doesn't have Lily. Not really. He can visit her 2 hours a week under supervision. He can send child support checks. He can buy her expensive toys she doesn't need. But he doesn't have her trust, her love, her sleepy 3 in the morning cuddles, or the way she calls Marcus Daddy Russ with absolute certainty. You can't buy those things. You can't buy family. I used to think family meant blood. I used to think success meant money. I used to think I needed my parents' approval to be whole. I was wrong about all of it. Family is the person who opens the door when everyone else closes it. Success is waking up next to your sleeping child and knowing she's safe. And wholeness, that comes from choosing yourself, choosing your child, choosing love over fear. This life, small and loud and imperfect, is mine. And I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.